I do think like entertainment is so naturally interesting to us because it's our world. You know, he's talking so much about business and the evolution of business and how like, you know, when a guy's in management for 50 years, you watch the business change so many times, and we're kind of watching that right now. So he talks about HBO coming along,
right,
and how like one of his lines in the book is that, you know, man, Lenny Bruce would have killed for HBO, and you're like, that's pretty heavy,
that's
right?
So true.
You think about that, like you die out in the 60s, you can't say shit. HBO, like say whatever you want. Subscription-based services starting, even then you could kind of see that advertised-based television was kind of
going away.
It's kind of wrong.
Yeah. I had an interesting thought today, which was so much of a joke is timing, and so much of a comic's career is timing.
So true. I've had so many agents be like, if you were born in the 80s, you'd be huge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe you're right. But you got to cope with whatever time you're in. I mean,
but also you can make the most of whatever time you're in. You can still figure it. I mean, we're in a weird time because Mark and I are kind of old school comics. You know, like we're not a lot of comics our age have done a lot of late night sets like us. We're kind of cut from that old school cloth, but that's not the world we live in anymore.
That's it.
You have to adapt. But like, look, we have adapted.
Yeah. We're TikToking, we're YouTubing, we're Instagramming, we're trying, we're podcasting, we're doing what we got to do.
Well, what did you mean when you said things are changing? Because I don't think that's what you meant.
Well, kind of what he talked about. I mean, the subscription-based model is king now. I mean, it's like cable is king for a while. I mean, you had a show on cable, you were huge, right?
Huge.
And now look at cable. I mean, cable's a joke. Now it's like you want to be on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or HBO or some shit like that. You don't want to be on like, you know, TBS or Comedy Central, right?
But in your careers, in your just the 15 years you've been doing it, comedy has changed. The way stand-up comics tell jokes has changed. It's not, your guys are joke guys. Both of you are joke guys. There are complete story guys. There are people who are like just talking about their lives in like a depressing way. Not Goldman. I'm talking about like Gatsby.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's not a lot of jokes here. I mean, you can tell jokes, but she's telling the story of her pain. It's like, that's not comedy.
Right.
As you know it.
Well, yeah, the doors have been opened also to a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking he's saying you got a Comedy Central special back in the day. You were set. We both have those. We both have multiple Tonight shows. Doesn't even move the needle. So it's changing the way of like you have to make your own path now.
So when Fallon or someone comes to you now, do you drop everything like you used to?
You give them the benefit of the doubt. You go, maybe I will. But if they start going, you can't do that joke, you can't do that joke, you're like, well, this is not even worth it anymore.
Once it starts taking up too much of your time, you're kind of like, I mean, comics don't get the same respect as like, they'll have guests or let the like panel guests do whatever the hell they want for the most part. But like, so how often do you see like a panel guest like, can I say fuck? And they already said it. Like they're messing with the host. Yeah. But then we say like fart and they're just like, what? You can't say fart.
Yeah.
People, you know, that's offensive to our advertisers, you know, like we're still the bottom feeders over there. So it's kind of like we've been disrespected our whole career. So you do kind of, there's a party that's kind of like, I don't really need this. But if they don't make it too hard on you, then it's still fun to do.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're right. We get disrespected. We're the bottom feeders. We're nobodies of show business. But I'll take that and be myself. I'd rather be myself than play the game and be more famous. You know, I think comics have a gift and a curse where we get to be honest and keep it real and say some truths in society and call out shit. And then the penalty is you don't get to be Jim Carrey, which I'm fine with. Does that make sense?
Sure. I mean, I don't think like...
I think it's an even trade and I'll take it.
Yeah.